Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. We are now live. Hello, hello. I'm hoping that everybody can hear me and there isn't any real background noise. Hello, hello. My name is Jennifer Waters and I am part of the CNY Fertility team. I'm happy to be here today on this very humid Thursday morning here in central New York. If it looks like I'm sweating, it's because I am, because it's like we live in a rainforest here, but I'm not going to complain because most of the year we are shivering up here, at least I am, and I'd rather be sweating. So, one thing we should not complain about is the weather, right? Because we have no control over it. There's very little we can do unless we want to believe in the collective consciousness. If we are all focused on the same thing, I do believe we can have different outcomes, but that's a whole nother subject, mostly related to quantum physics, right? So, thank you for your interest today. I want to get back to the basics, some of the basics of how to cultivate fertility, how to enhance your fertility more naturally. That's my interest. I do believe for sure we are designed to heal and repair ourselves, in particular the endocrine system, which is the system we need to examine if you are trying to conceive and it's not working out for you. We have to take a look at the ductless glands and why perhaps your ovaries are underfunctioning or overfunctioning and how that affects your thyroid. I don't care what the blood tests say, right? Your thyroid is sluggish, most likely, if you were trying to conceive. If you have had experienced, unfortunately, pregnancy loss, that means your thyroid is sluggish. Is it going to be reflective in your blood work? Not necessarily. This is one of my favorite questions for Dr. Kiltz because he's the first to say that blood work is not the most reliable. It changes every day, changes every hours, depending on what's going on. So a lot of you possibly have met me on Tuesdays. I always ask, where are you from? I'm very curious about geographic location and what have you been diagnosed with? And a lot of people say unexplained infertility, which we know the word for that is idiopathic, right? Idiopathic means no cause, no cure. It means nobody knows what's going on in the world that you are attempting to get a diagnosis in. So if we can take you out of that world and put you into whether it's functional medicine, naturopathic, Chinese medicine, intuitive healing, whatever, this is where we come into play to help you look at causation. There's always a cause and an effect. It might be very subtle, but there's always something going on that we can improve upon. Okay. So I want you to take that word idiopathic and remove it from your vocabulary. Okay. And you are in your body. You're embodying your body. You're not a car, you're not a lawnmower, obviously. So I do want to invite you to really connect with your body and ask yourself these questions because you know your body better than anyone else. And I do understand that not everybody's interested in health. It's not your jam. You don't get body work regularly or whatever. It's not your interest. So that being said, you are in this body. So you have to connect on some level with yourself and ask yourself, what do you think is going on? I ask everybody that. Oh, you have PCOS. What do you think the cause is? Oh, they don't know. It's always externalized. They don't know. I didn't ask you if they know. I asked you if you know because you're embodying yourself and usually you know well, I started having irregular periods, or I was put on hormonal birth control when I was 14 because of blah, blah, blah. So we don't know for sure if that's the cause, but it's something we can take into consideration as we rebuild your endocrine function because we know how to do that. And that's the cool thing about what I call real health, is we know how to repair your ovaries, your uterus, your thyroid, your hypothalamus, your pituitary, I don't know about the pineal gland. It's a little funny up there, but rarely is that the cause. Sometimes it is, but oftentimes when you fix one gland, like the hypothalamus, let's say we determined that that is the gland that's under functioning, when you repair that, everything else fixes itself. It can, because we are connected. We are one unit, and especially in the endocrine system, they all work together. Maybe you've seen those charts. They're a little intimidating, right? Where it's like, oh my gosh, this leads to that, and too much estrogen causes this, and not enough progesterone causes that. So it's an intricate web of interdependent hormones, and it truly is a reflection of the truth in the universe, is that we are all connected to each other and we are interdependent beings, right? No one's truly ever alone. We are in this together. So that's a whole nother subject, obviously. But one of the most important things you can do is remove the inhibition, remove the toxins from your life. Okay. So examine shampoo, deodorant, toothpaste, laundry detergent, dishwasher soap. Anything that is not safe for human consumption needs to be out of your life completely. Why? Because these are endocrine disruptors. What does that mean? It means that it's not usually one thing. We can't say, oh, you're using that horrible dishwashing detergent and that's causing your thyroid to become hypoactive. Not usually one thing. It's a lot of things that accumulate and then the scale is tipped, right? We don't wake up all of a sudden one day and have PCOS. Things have accumulated over time. We're young. We are able to ignore the subtle signs and symptoms. And so, because we're younger and healthier generally, when you're younger, the body self corrects. And so that becomes the norm. And then as you ascend, I call it intelligent aging, as you ascend, then things accumulate, biotoxins affect the glands. We assume we're going to self correct. And one day you wake up and there's no self correction. And then we blame it on aging. That is not aging. That is generally us. And I am also to blame for this, ignoring the subtler signs and symptoms, expecting the self correction process to be in place, and then it's not, and then we become the victim of our biological age. No, 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 no. Our biological age is what it is, and we obviously can't change that, but you can certainly reverse the signs of negative aging, because there's a lot of positive things about aging, right? We get healthier, we get less burdened emotionally. Hopefully, we're growing our wisdom, we make better decisions, we have better friends, higher quality friends, we figured out our purpose in life. There's so many wonderful things to ascending the ladder, right? So let's not get down on the biological clock here, folks, okay? There's lots of things that we can do, whether it's improving your egg quality, or restoring complete endocrine function to a certain degree. We can do it. Okay. So remove the toxins. Then what we need to do is introduce the essential micronutrients that are important for each of your glands, thyroid in particular, iodine, right? Two kinds of iodine drops, which work as an antiseptic. I read something yesterday. If you have Hashimoto's, then you should not take iodine. That I do not believe that that's the case at all. There is no discrimination when it comes to the correct nutrient for the gland. There's protein bound iodine in whole food form, like kelp, like bladderwrack. And then there's the antiseptic form, which is the drops. Both have their place. Dosage is important. But you have to really understand, if you have Hashimoto's, then you are in the autoimmune phase of the thyroid, and that has to be corrected. And it is not the body attacking itself. We are infinitely designed to heal ourselves. Why would suddenly the body start attacking itself? It doesn't. It attacks the foreign proteins in the bloodstream that shouldn't be there because of a late stage degenerative process That's usually a result of heavy metals, other toxins, could be viruses, could be bacteria, could be psycho emotional, right? We are always minimizing the emotional side. We hear all of these things. You are what you believe. You believe what you perceive. You perceive based on what you believe. Our thoughts are co creating our reality. And then when it comes to fertility in our endocrine system, we sort of push that aside and say, well, what about my blood work? What about the MTHFR gene? What about my chromosomal abnormalities? And I want you to keep coming back to that psycho emotional part of yourself and know, feel, trust that what you are feeling and what you are thinking is affecting how your cells are functioning. The biology of belief, we have proved this over and over. So even if you don't fully believe it, fake it. Okay. Get your mind on board. Neutral or above is the rule in my house. So it doesn't have to be a great day, but it's got to be Thursday. Okay. It's not going to be a bad day unless that's your choice and you want to go down that path. I see a lot of couples coming into the transfer room with very low expectations and already planning on their next retrieval and transfer. Please don't do that. Please don't do that because your embryo is affected by the energy that you're sending to it. I know it sounds very non-medical, but it's the truth. So even if that's in the way back of your mind, I want you to push it out for transfer day and receive this energy, this life force that's being implanted into you that hopefully is going to result in the zinc spark. I'm writing a blog post on this now. I did write a blog post on the autoimmune phase of the ovaries. It just got published. Woohoo! I'm very excited to be collaborating with everybody in the fertility world, especially CNY and Dr. Kiltz, and also Celine River Press out in Colorado. So it was kind of fun to write. And I believe at least 5 people are going to read it. So there you have it, folks. My followers are in the double digits any day now. So anyways, back to whatever I was talking about. Oh, the autoimmune phase of the ovaries, probably. Introducing essential micronutrients. Oh, here's the other thing that you hear me talk about all the time. Location, 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 right? Any realtors out there, they use this phrase all of the time. The same is true for the uterus. What holds the uterus in place? 3 primary ligaments. If those ligaments are not getting the nutrients that they need, they can stretch it out. They will stretch. They will not support your uterus to be in a proper location. And then you are already set up for the autoimmune phase of the uterus. Okay. And again, this can be repaired. There's so many things that you can do. Hands-on work, the Arvigo therapy, get your uterus back in place. Get those ligaments stronger to hold her there. This is going to free up the ovaries. Even if you're just simply preparing for an egg retrieval, it's one of the most important things you can do, right? The egg retrieval is an invasive procedure. It's normal, like all surgeons do surgery all day, every day. So for them, this is normal everyday life. But for those of us that are not used to going under anesthesia and going through an egg retrieval, you have to prepare yourself, prepare your body by doing some self-care massage, by introducing the nutrients that you need, by getting the lining of your uterus stronger, by getting your ovaries to function as much as they possibly can. Because right after the retrieval, if you're doing a fresh transfer, then we need your ovaries to be functioning well. It's fine to do progesterone shots, to do however you're doing progesterone, great. But ultimately, we don't want to rely on the Band-Aid. We want to heal the wound. We want to support your ovaries so that they're producing the progesterone that they need to. Then all of your glands are going to be happy. Because your thyroid, how do you think your thyroid feels? Your ovaries are like, yo, I only have to work half the month anyways. And I get to have this progesterone introduced. So I'm not going to work at all. And then the thyroid says, you know what? I'm going to retire too. Because it's not fair. I do all the work. You do nothing. You get all the support. I don't do anything. So I do believe there's jealousy in the glands. This is my attempt at stand-up comedy. I hope it's working. So I think we talked about everything. Sign up for my newsletter if you want to, jenniferwaters.net. I'm going to put it in here. Good morning. What number? That's a good question. You guys ask good questions. I really don't like to answer a lot online because it's personal. Lots of things about NAD precursors. There's. I'm not a fan of synthetic isolated nutrients. Okay, absolutely not.